Hello, hello, hello. Back again with a live stream. Printing a purple gray color today. Let me just pull this up. For the comments. There we are. All right. So pretty much the same thing as yesterday. Got a little gradation here. 2-color gradation. And this color represents the clouds in the sky. I'm just going to need a little bit more ink. Couple areas. Going to put this over to the press. Just one pass. There we have it. So this shape here is the distant ridge cliff. So this will be covered with another color. There's some overprinting happening here. So it's really just these two kind of cloud shapes, the one down low towards the horizon, and then this larger cloud at the top. I'm just experimenting with some of this like horizontal carving. Kind of simplifying some of these cloud shapes. Yeah, I like it. Trying to get away from the photograph as much as possible. I mean, I'm using a photograph to develop these prints. And I'm really trying to use some more graphic imagery or some more drawing of my own drawing. And just experimenting with some textures. Just trying to make these prints a little bit more unique and less photorealistic. I just finished editing a YouTube video. It's uploading right now. So it should be out later this afternoon, this evening. And it's announcing the beginning of this print, giving an update of my summer, and just kind of getting another video out there to get the ball rolling again. Same thing with these live streams. I just gotta get back at it. Get back in the rhythm of producing and making videos. here's the print so far. Put it over the press. I never show the press. Maybe I'll bring you over there real quick so you can see it. So we gotta just rotate this a little bit. All right, it's good enough, I think. So I just have this simple press. My dad actually made this press for me. He made it, he bought some machining tools, and he cut all the pieces of angle iron, and he designed the whole thing, made it for me. It took him a while. It was a nice project for him. So when I put it through the press, I like to just start the block like at the corner. So it goes in one corner at a time. And I cover it with just a piece of chipboard and a felt pushing blanket. It's super easy, just once through. There it is. So I'll bring it back over to the working table. There we go. Sorry about all that movement. And we just keep going. We've got 20 sheets. I'm gonna go through, I have half an hour until I have to go head out and run some errands. So I'm gonna try to move along and get this done quickly. Just pulling some of this ink down. Get some more ink on the roller. I'm trying to use some more color, be a little bit more expressive and experimental with my color too. So this is the third impression on this reductive Linocut block. Take this to the press. Get a piece of paper so you can see. So yeah, this is the first distant cliff mountain that will be a different color. And then, so this is really just going to be this cloud that goes across the bottom, and then this large cloud shape at the top, which will kind of frame in the top of the composition. But this is the third impression, and I like what it's already doing with the transparency of the inks. You can see that first impression was just a yellow orange. This was the first impression. This was the gradation over the first, and now this is the color that I'm using on top of it. So this is and then this is just when I'm rolling out the ink off of my roller at the end of the printing session. So I use these test strips to adjust my color so I know what it's going to look like on top. And this is where we're at. And I like how this yellow and warm color are coming through those carved lines. But then from a distance, it acts like a gradient or some shading. Like visually it mixes together. But then up close you can see the individual lines. Yeah, something different. Also, you can see the sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. You can see the transparency of this paper. Look how you can see through it almost. This is Kozo fibers. It's really nice paper so far. It's the first time I've used it, and it's already become one of my favorite papers that I've ever used, especially with this oil-based pigments. So we just keep on going. Let's see, we have a comment. Travis, hey Steven, I caught the tail end of your stream yesterday. Thanks, Travis. Any tips for making the registration notches in your linoleum? Yeah, so I'm actually coming out with a video right now. It's uploading. And I talk about making the notches here. It's actually not going to be in this video, but it'll be in the next video. So the first video is just me announcing this print and updating my subscribers, because I haven't made a video in so long. But I'm sure there's things along the way. I transfer the image. I show how I transfer the image to this block, and I talk about kind of the idea that I'm going for this project. But the next video, I will be showing me carving these notches, and I have it zoomed in. So subscribe if you haven't already, and not this video that's coming out today, but the next video. It should come out in a couple days, maybe 2 days. I'll have it ready. I'm actually going to edit it and upload it tonight. And I'll give it a couple days before I post it. So that'll be the second video of this block, of this project. And we'll talk about the kentos briefly. But really it's pretty simple. It's just I use a razor blade to cut down shallow. And then I just keep it nice and shallow, just deep enough to accept the corner of the paper. So use a straight edge and a utility knife or a box cutter or razor blade to cut down straight down, nice and clean. And then you have to come back and clean it with a chisel. And you really just want to keep it nice and clean. So 90 degrees at the bottom here, and a nice straight edge over here. Yeah, I haven't really talked too much about my press in any videos yet, so I could do that in one of the videos. That's a good idea. I'll kind of just do a section of what I'm printing, and I can show. I have to clean it up a bit. It's kind of storing a lot of my supplies right now. I keep all my inks and blocks underneath on the shelves, so if I cleaned up my studio here a little bit, I could show it. But yeah, my dad made this press for me. He saw that I was doing a lot of Mokuhongo printing, and I was using a lot of the Baron, struggling with printing, and he said, you know what, you need a press. And my father is he's a furniture builder. Has a nice woodworking shop in his basement, and he has a lot of skills working and designing furniture. So he bought a couple machines and he started designing and cutting some metal parts. Here, I'll show it to you here. Just rotate this over. So that's the press there. And you can see I store all my ink underneath. I have all my art books stacked over there for reference and for inspiration. And that wheel is, yeah, custom press from Dad. And that wheel is just a sailboat wheel that he found online. And then he sent out, the only thing he sent out to get machined at a machine shop was the actual roller on the top. They had to finish off, so this part here, there's one here at the top and one underneath. He got this machined down super smooth and cut to size. And everything else though, he cut and bought and made himself. So all of these pieces he cut and made from scratch. And then he built this the cart that it sits on, some heavy duty, like 2x6s, put in a couple shelves for storage. It's a mess right now, but yeah, custom press from Dad. Thanks, Dad. And man, I use it all the time. It's my new favorite studio tool. And I lost track of where I was here. So I laid this paper down, I think. Yeah, I gotta run this through. So Calvin is asking if I have any links to the stuff that I'm using. So what I'm using for this project is just Battleship Gray linoleum. It's just like your basic linoleum you can get from any art shop. The rollers I'm using are these cheap speedball rollers at the moment. I have some nice rollers. The larger rollers I have are these really nice ones that I get from, I forget the name of the company. Oh, right here. These are really nice rollers. And then the inks I use are just, put this back. I have Gamblin Relief inks and these Cranfield's Gamblin Relief ink and these Cranfield Relief inks. You can get these, I get most of my oil-based stuff from Blick here in the States. blick.com. And this paper is Awagami. I have it here. It's Awagami editioning paper is what I'm using now. It's a Kozo Natural Select. There's no sizing in it. And it's a really excellent paper so far for the work that I'm doing right now. And then Mokuhanga Tools, which is the water-based printing, that's a whole other ball game. All those materials, the brushes, the knives, come from Japan. And the blocks I use American Cherry, which I buy the wood, and my father and I make the blocks ourselves. But I also use Shina plywood, or Shina plywood. You can get that from Japan as well. There's some printmaking supplies in the States. It's called McLean's. They have a lot of stuff. I try not to buy my stuff from there just because it's so expensive. But yeah, I need to compile like a PDF file that you could download from my website or something that has just a basic starter list of materials that I recommend. But I'm constantly changing too. Like this is a new paper. I'm always looking for new supplies. But the washi, the paper I use for the Mokuhanga, is really hard to get nowadays. It's really expensive, and I'm having a hard time finding a reliable source. So I'm kind of transitioning to more oil-based printing. I'm also adapting my process, so I'm using like a transparent base in these inks and these pigments. I'm using transparency to get this kind of, a subtle transparent application of ink, similar to Mokuhanga. So I want this to look and feel like more of a Japanese woodblock print, but it's reductive linoleum and it is oil-based. So I'm trying to kind of cross between the two mediums. I do get that question a lot. Where do you get your blocks from? Where do you get your tools from? So yeah, it would be nice to just refer them to a PDF. I don't get too many questions on a daily basis. I might get like 1 or 2 questions a day on my YouTube. I don't mind sitting down and individually answering questions because every question is a little bit different. And someone was just asking today on my YouTube about the Cranfield Safe Wash inks and how he was having a hard time drying his prints because it takes forever to dry. And I don't really know too much about those inks, the Safe Wash, but I've used similar inks to that, like water-based oils. And essentially they're just, they don't have any drying agents in them. So you're really relying on the paper absorbing the oil. And that takes a long time, especially if you're layering multiple layers of ink on top of each other. Your print might not ever fully dry because there's no drying agents, no cobalt dryer or whatever else they use. So it's okay if you're doing like one impression, because the paper could easily absorb one impression or one color. But if you're trying to stack multiple, like what I'm doing here, like this is already the 3rd layer, and you're trying to get it to dry in between, you have to have something that's gonna, you have to have some sort of toxic drying agent. As long as you're not you're in a well ventilated area and you're careful about getting it on your hands and eating food, and you know, you're just really careful. Like I have a little bit of ink on my fingers here, but I'm just gonna go wash my hands right after I'm done printing here. As long as you're not eating the ink, I think you'll be all right. So I add a little bit of cobalt dryer to speed up my drying time. And I used to be really careful with that stuff because it is kind of nasty. And I just use one drop, one tiny drop, and it really allows this ink to dry overnight. But there is, so on Blick, I did research, the Cranfield has a drying wax that is safe to use with the Safe Wash, and it's supposed to speed up the drying time. So if anyone's using the Cranfield Safe Wash inks, or I've used the Akua water-based relief inks, the Akua, and yeah, I didn't like the fact that it takes like 2 months to get your ink to dry, so I don't use that stuff anymore. So sometimes you get these chunks of linoleum on your roller. Just gonna make sure you clean those up. So someone's saying Sun Matte Overprint Varnish from Vansun works great for transparency with oil-based printing inks. Well, thank you for that recommendation. I will definitely check that out. Yeah, the paper that you use does make a huge difference. Yeah, I love different papers. I have a whole stack of paper, whole stacks of paper underneath my bed in boxes, layered in different levels of cardstock. And what I found over time, the most important thing to do when you buy papers is to label them right away. Because you think you're going to remember what kind of paper it is, and then 5 years later, you're like, oh, what is this paper? What is it made out of? Where did I get it from? And you totally forget. So when you buy papers, as soon as you open it up, lightly on the back of each sheet, or add a little sticky note describing the paper and where it came from and the title of it, etc. Because you will always forget. But I can tell you this paper here, for what I'm doing with this lino block and this sort of reductive printing, I'm get a little bit of a piece of stuff here. Yeah, I gotta clean that up. It's starting to show up. Hold on a second. Get a little U-gouge here and clean up that area. Oh yeah. There's just a little area that was a little too high. Just need to clear it out a little bit. No big deal. Yeah, gradients are, as long as you pile up, mix your colors cleanly. I mix them up on a separate palette, and then I bring them to this palette, and I just cleanly try to line them up as wide as the roller, and then you just slowly bring it down. Keep your roller in the same orientation. And because of this situation here, this side of the roller is getting used more because of this section at the top, and then this bottom section. So the middle of the roller isn't getting much ink. So over here on the palette, you can see on this roller, there's a lot of ink in the middle because it's not going anywhere. It's just staying on the roller. So on this, I have to continue to bring down the ink. Always to bring down the ink on those edges where the actual linoleum is picking up the ink. And as you bring it down, if you want that transition, you can just kind of go on an angle a little bit a couple times, and that will give you a nice even gradation. This is just a subtle gradation, but I'm trying to put a gradation in every impression on this print. It just adds variety, and it adds really more of a realistic look to it. So this is the third gradation. So I've got a chunk of linoleum on my block here. So yeah, 3 gradations. This will be the third, but this is 2 gradations on top of each other. And you can just see the variety of colors that are there now. There's red, yellow, blue, green, purple. It's kind of all there, the whole spectrum. And just 2 gradations, transparent gradations on top of each other. Obviously, this work is very much influenced by Japanese woodblock prints. So I'm trying to go for that same style, but using transparent oil-based inks. Yeah, I took one printmaking class in college, but we just did like intaglio printmaking, so etchings, some aqua tint etchings, and dry pointing. That's pretty much it. I did do one woodblock carving, a woodblock print at the end. I carved a piece of birch plywood for something, and that was my first introduction to block printing. Everything else I learned on my own. Watching YouTube, watching David Bull, making Christmas cards. I started making Christmas cards for friends and family with some Linocuts, and I just really fell in love with it, so just continued with it. But I do have a background in oil painting. So color theory and mixing colors is something that I do have experience with. So I'm applying everything that I've learned in the past, my oil painting, printmaking class. My father taught me how to use chisels, wood cutting tools. So yeah, so oil-based pigments and oil-based block printing, and we're using a press, mostly comes from Europe. So the height of block printing I mean, block printing comes from, the oldest form of block printing comes from like probably like the area of China. But yeah, block printing is the oldest form of printing that there is. I mean, even relief carving, I mean, they were carving images into rocks. You know, cavemen were carving images into rocks. So this is the oldest form of visual communication. But no, mostly Western style printing comes from Europe. And the height of it would be like the Renaissance period with like Dürr's woodblocks. And then water-based printing, or Mokuhanga, comes from Japan. So it's just Eastern and Western. The papers are different. Western is, so this is totally a hybrid. I'm using linoleum, oil-based pigments, but I'm also using my Japanese carving tools. I'm using my Japanese Kozo fiber paper. So this is definitely a hybrid of East and West. But printmaking is so versatile. You do so much with it. And I'm even including, you know, the last print I made was Mokuhanga and oil-based together. So I had both mediums in the same print. So I like to change it up, keep it fresh, keep learning, keep exploring new ideas. Yeah, printmaking is fascinating. And it's just so fun. Let's see what time it is. I have to keep an eye on the time. I have about 15 more minutes left until I have to go. So I got to get moving. Also, a lot of printmaking, Italio printmaking comes from Europe. A lot of etchings, aqua tints. Where they're using a press and they're using a copper plate. It's very European. Some famous etchings come from Rembrandt. Even American, like Whistler, made a lot of etchings, like artistic etchings. Goya, some famous series using aqua tint, which is also a form of intaglio printmaking. So a lot of artists who were painters also used printmaking as a medium. Some woodcuts by Monk, Edvard Munch. He did some really interesting woodcuts. Saw a nice exhibition by him. It's landscapes in the Berkshires. That was an amazing exhibition of his landscape paintings, and alongside his landscape paintings were a lot of his woodcuts. He was influenced obviously by German Expressionism. A lot of German Expressionism used wood cut. What's her name? Katie Kolowitz, I think her name is. She did some really expressive black and white woodcuts depicting a lot of horrific scenes from memory, the Holocaust, and some really dark scenes. Another painter who uses printmaking as a medium is Lucian Freud. Lucian Freud, if you've never seen his paintings, go Google him right now. His paintings are amazing. He works from life, but he also does etchings where he's drawing directly on large copper plates. And his etchings and his paintings, they have the same emotion and the same feeling in them. There's another artist that used both painting and printmaking as a medium. Let's just do one side by side. After I pull this one off, we'll do a side by side comparison. This is the before and this is the after. So it's subtle. That's actually quite nice. Sky's looking quite nice. Yeah, I like that. You can see these fibers, these Kozo fibers are really long, strong. This paper's super strong. It's thin. You can see through it, but it's super strong. There's no sizing in this paper, so it would absorb, you know, those Cranfield safe washes or the Akua. It would absorb probably 1 or 2 impressions really well. But then after that, I'm not sure how well it would do. So yeah, for anyone that missed in the beginning, I have a YouTube video about this print, the beginning of this print and how I transferred the image. It's coming out in probably 1 hour or 2. And I plan on making a video every step along the way for this project. Man, it is warm. It's very warm in here today. It's got to be 80 degrees out there today. It's like summertime. End of September. I'm still enjoying the summer temperatures here in New York City. Normally I'd have my AC on right now because it's that warm. But it makes too much noise, so. Constantly have to bring this ink down to get the edges of this roller. It's so warm that this ink is drying out as I work. Oops. So I have the opposite problem. My ink here is drying too fast. And we just keep on going. Keep printing the same way. The registration is really accurate. If you look at the edges, so this corner is the furthest corner from the registration. That's normally where you'd find the misalignment. But as you can see, it's a perfect registration. So cutting the Kento marks right into the block makes it so that you can be really accurate. I got 3 more, so I'll be wrapping this up after that. And I will show you, when I finish up, I'll show you how easy this block is to clean. Because I sprayed the block with a polyurethane clear coat, clear gloss coat. So I sprayed it so it would preserve the graphite drawing underneath, so it won't smudge, so I could do all of these impressions and still see my drawing. So you could probably see the sheen, the gloss of the polyurethane spray, but it also makes for a really easy cleanup, which I'll show you. Let's see. Oh, I know I have more than 3, 4. I got 4 more. I'm just gonna keep going. How are we on time? Oh, I gotta get going. I gotta pick my son up from the bus. So I have like 10 minutes tops. And then I gotta run. Literally run out the door. Whoops. I'm gonna get these printed quickly. Let's see how fast I can go. It is very repetitious. Another reason why I enjoy it. Get lost in the repetition. Just get in the zone. You can turn your mind off. Stop thinking about how crazy our world is. Just focus on the moment. Boom. Moving along. 2 more to go. And I'll show you my secret product for cleaning off my block. Top secret new product for cleaning off linoleum blocks. All right, there's 1 more to go. ink on this one. Yeah, my ink's drying. It's like really tacky. It's so warm today. How'd you know, Pam? Pam, you ruined my top secret ingredient. It's avocado spray oil. It comes in a spray bottle from Trader Joe's. Oh no, I got ink. Hold on. See what happens when you rush? You get sloppy. I got ink on. Where did I pick up this ink? I picked up some ink. It's right here on the table as well. Let me just clean my hand off. That's what happens when you rush printmaking. You get ink in places where you don't want it. I get it on my block. Is that where I picked it up from? Oh, I wonder how I guess when I removed my paper towel here, I dipped down and got into this red a little bit. So this is the last one. I didn't ruin the print. That's all that matters. And that's that. So I'm gonna be right back. Bear with me. Gotta head to the kitchen. All right, I'm running. So the secret ingredient to cleaning your blocks is 100% pure avocado oil spray. Maybe this isn't from Trader Joe's. This might be from Costco. But just a little spray is all you need. Apply that to your block. And look how easy cleanup can be. This is just so exciting for me. You can use vegetable oil. People use vegetable oil. I've used baby oil. Any oil will clean up oil. You can also use like mineral spirits, which is not my favorite at all. And then you just, because I sprayed this with the polyurethane, it just cleans up so easy. And my drawing underneath is perfectly intact. And all of this top part's going to be carved away, all of this part's going to be carved away, and we'll be working our way slowly into this distant landscape area coming forward. And I'm going to start using some texture in these areas using a Dremel tool. But that's for the next video. So thanks for joining me. I gotta run, I gotta go pick up my son. I appreciate everyone out there. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Look forward to that YouTube video coming out. It should be out in like an hour or like 10 minutes. Bye.